Well, here I sit, and about 3 days ago, this truck was registered, insured, road legal, which it still is. But day two into driving it, went to town to get a car wash. I could bring it home for the weekend and work on rock lights and work on other things. And on the way there, my clutch just started to slip. It drives fine, it's just fine, but the motor to the power it's producing is not putting it through the transmission. The clutch is slipping. I know it leaks about half a quart of oil per month. So I know it's leaking somewhere. And it's leaking out the bell housing, which means it's slipping because of the clutch is getting oily wet. So I know the reason why it's slipping. That's good and bad. So in town, it really got really bad. Got to grandma's house, mow grass. Got a car wash done. And I'm heading back home up a busy road, State Street, Peach Street, and it's bad. And pulling a Vance Auto and just parked there a bit. Dad says, go get some stop leak. Pour in your engine. Get a quart. I do so. Let it cycle for half a quarter, about 20 minutes. Parking lot, let it cycle the motor at least. It's pretty thick. I don't know if it's going to be enough to help it. It's pretty really bad. It's slipping. I can't even drive. I'm driving up the main busy road, 3-lane road, in low range third gear. Side of the road. That's how bad it was. So it's low range eventually stopped working from a Vance Auto. I did drive up in first gear low range on the road to a Home Depot parking lot. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to push this truck any further. 10 more miles home. 2 big steep hills to go. Like, I'm not. Park it here at Home Depot and wait for Dad to show up at the trailer and truck. So that's what I did. Waited half an hour. He showed up. Truck still drove. He says, drive it on, Mike. Alrighty. I'll show you. It did not move. I backed it up, made it square of the trailer at least. Get up to the ramp. Tire touches the ramp, and it stops. It does not want to crawl up that ramp. It's just that bad of a slip. And Dad's just in shock how bad it is. All right, pull winch. Winched it on, no problem. Got on the trailer, strapped it, got it home, rolled it in the garage. Look at the truck's washed. I just washed it. So I power washed fenders. The frame needs power washed again, but at least the major of it's not muddy. I'm happy about that right now. It's being washed. It's done. And the mess is up there at Frog's Car Wash, now my own driveway. So I'm happy about that. Who's outside? All right, we're good. I hate talking. Someone's outside. So the next thing is pull the truck in here. And first thing first is, like, no matter what I do, I'm keeping the body, no matter what I do. And so pull the front clip off, did that. Last night I pulled the back bed off, bed is loose. There's 2 more bolts to go. That's it for the bed. So everything's off there. So I'm pulling bed off today. 2 more bolts, bed off. Cab is steering box. I'm going to take it with the cab. It's all easier. And there's a few more wires. And then there's the shifters to deal with, pedals. And then there's like 4 or 6 bolts bolting to the chassis. Cab comes off, rolling chassis. Then power wash everything in pieces. And then after that, it's to figure out what to do here. Now, I know in the long term, like, okay, we'll just fix this clutch, repaint the frame, and drive in a month or 2 from now. That's fine. But I know from next year, after Epic Willys Adventure, which I know I'm not going to do probably, most likely not at all, just because of it's money and the fee for it and getting time off work near impossible. So I'm not going to be happening for that. So, all right, fine. If I'm not doing Epic Willys Adventure, why don't we just do a diesel conversion now? The truck's going to be down now through spring anyway. I have between now, it's summertime, pretty hot in the 80s right now. Not wintertime, working on the truck, freezing cold, wood stove going, trying to heat the garage and paint. We can do it right now with ease. It's like, okay, let's just be down between now and spring. Let's do a motor swap now. So the idea of the swap is obviously a 2203 Kubota diesel out of a reefer truck. But that conversion is going to cost near $5,000 to find a motor and the adapter. So that's 5 G's, which I don't really have. I don't want to do that spend anyway. It's not much gain for $5,000 comparing to new clutch in this thing. And it's still sluggish, but it's about equal to a diesel, but not as reliable or fuel efficient. So it's like, that's not worth it. I could do a TDI turbo diesel, but I need to find a 98 and older. so I don't have to deal with ECUs. And those are near impossible. I searched like 4 hours last night for all 3 motor types. I couldn't find almost anything. Kubota, nothing. Found 2, but they're in Michigan. And then for TDIs, just nothing. I found old school Rabbits, which will work fine, but they don't have turbos. The ones I found. And the conversion kit's $2,000 for turbo. Yeah, you can DIY it, but do things right, buy the kit. Yeah, I'm not doing that either. And someone else told me to find an 03 ALH turbo diesel that has any ECUs at all. So like, okay, that's a good idea. And they're more common for 03. I searched. Everything I found was GLS, not ALD or whatever. Like, I can only found one, and it's 300,000 miles on it, and 5 hours away. It's like, that motor is about shot. And he's thinking about doing an LS swap anyway to his car, to his Volkswagen, oddly. But yeah, I'm not doing that either. So basically, diesel's out the question. Everyone's saying 4BT it, which I agree. But 4BTs are $2,000-$3,000 to buy one, and they're probably near built. And you can find a transmission that pairs up to it, and I'd rather have an automatic, to be honest. At this stage, I burn up this clutch being oily wet, and I burn 3 clutches up in CJs, smoking them. So I mean, I'm good at shifting gears, but in parades or stop signs and such, every time in town, it goes bad. Plus now wet, oily wet. So I'm okay with automatic. And I'd rather deal with drive it and have fun on the truck, not deal with this and shifting gears all the time. So automatic's fine. I do want to have a twin stick on it for TKs at least for low range. So there's that one to find. But yeah, not doing 4BT. Too much money, too much weight. And 110 horse, yeah, there's more mods. Again, you can do motors, make them high horse, but no, I'm good. So, what's my next option? Well, I'm watching Trill Mater's videos. He just did a motor swap on his truck. He got it waterlogged and had to put a new motor in it. He did a big block Chevy swap. Like, I don't need a big block. My truck's body is so light. The truck right now weighs under 3,000 pounds. Small block's all I need. So I searched one. I found one an hour and a half from town for $300 just for the motor. He says, or buy the whole rolling chassis, axles, wheels, suspension, transmission, T-case, drive shafts, radiator, all the accessories to the motor for $500. Oh, that's itching me up. Let's do a chassis swap. Now that chassis is a 1986 K5 Blazer. Dandy 44 axles. It's on 33s right now, mud tires. I mean, still road tires, but mud, like these. That's a good alternative, good swap. Did the numbers, I'm okay with the idea, not swap. But the only kick up it is wheelbase. This truck's 118-inch wheelbase. A K5 is 106.5. So I gotta stretch out the chassis and drive shaft to make that work. And then that's good money for Tom Wood's drive shaft. So there's that. I'm making money now again, but I don't want to spend it all at once. So I think my plan is, if I go K5 swap, would be same deal like this chassis. Do a full chassis strip, paint the frame, do suspension, paint that up. May take a few leaves out. I can always do that in the future. If it's really stiff, do it later. Axles, paint as well. Just basically make a nice clean rolling chassis. Motor, get it running, then paint the motor, paint the tranny. Not tear apart the tranny, it's pretty well together, being automatic. Clean it, paint it, motor, paint it, reinstall accessories, remount it, should be easy. Front shaft, axles done. Steering's power steering, boxes on the outside of the frame, which is the same deal this truck has. So the only hiccups I'm seeing is steering column, which shouldn't be too hard to make that universal joints down to do. And then the next thing is going to be the back end. I need to stretch the chassis out back a couple inches. So what's the plan there? So my thoughts are, yeah, cut the frame and extend the drive shaft, buy a new drive shaft, custom made, and then make the bed fit to it. But I don't want to do it all at once at the one time. So my plan is to pretty much see it from like that point of view of a K5. So it's everything I said to do, but like right where I'm gonna cut the frame, don't paint there, but paint the back half of the frame. So you have the little tiny 1 foot section It's primer at least, but not painted, where you can grind it and weld on it and then extend the frame. Do that for that time period. And then dry shaft you order custom. That way you make the bed fit perfectly. Now these little pickup truck beds on my truck, I could shift that fender forward and back a few inches for some play, with just minor adjustments. So if I find a used dry shaft somehow that's slightly longer, but the fender needs to be, the axle, whatever, needs to move back or 2 inches, I'll move the fender instead, just to make up the difference, then have to deal with custom dry shaft. So that's my alternative plate in the back end. But yeah, the main thing I would do is, all I said, paint and get everything running. Put the cab on the K5. The front clip, put the front clip on, motor mounts, and the fenders on, the hood on, the grill on. That way the front clip is done to the cab. Then leave the back half a flatbed for some time. Until I have money, until I want to do a chassis stretch and do the dry shaft mod. And then once that's done, my bed back to my 6-foot bed. Use fenders to do minor adjustment. Hey, it's off by 2 inches here or an inch. Just move that fender a little bit. It's a lot easier than trying to adjust the whole suspension or adjusting the dry shaft or even the frame you just modified. Do it again. So fenders can be a helpful adjustment tool. So I think that's the plan I would do there. He wants $500 for the deal. Comes with a radiator, rolling chassis, decent tires on it, engine runs, radiator, all the accessories. It's an hour and a half away. I had the money right now, but I don't want to do a deal till weekend, just for time to go down and pick it up, but also capital, and really think this through. So I think that's the plan. Just do a chassis swap. But now, since I went in for dinner, Mom just told me, not my uncle, but my uncle's daughter's husband, now divorced or dead. I'm not sure what the process is, but pretty much the whole family took all the stuff out of the house. The only thing that remains is a Chevy S10 truck, running and driving, missing a title, because titles got lost, and no one wants the truck now. For me, I don't care about the title. I have a title for this truck. Title follows the cab, not the chassis. So it's like, I don't care about the title. Just do an S10 swap at that point. Runs and drives, it's in a lot better condition than this, but I don't know the condition of the truck, never seen it. I don't know the year, and some S10s have IFS. I don't want IFS, so I think I'd rather just sell that for parts, make some capital off that deal, and get for a few hundred where I sell it for. That's another plan, the S10 swap, but I think it's IFS. That's the only thing that's holding me back not to do S10. I'm an off-roader, not a street rodder, so sorry, no S10 for me. Sorry. So I don't know, that's the 2 planes there, S10, but IFS most likely not. Or else do K5. That's the most affordable, easiest way. There's plenty of support for small blocks. And basically it's a stock K5. So I'm thinking the leaf springs are pretty stiff, being K5 for a heavy steel body. This body's pretty light. So I could probably take a few leaf springs out, packs that help make it more flexible off-road. So I think that might be helpful there. Yeah, there's that. I gotta ask, I think it has drum brakes, but hopefully it's got disc brakes front, it'd be an upgrade. But it is a Dana 44, which is a lot more support out there. And it can do a differential lock on it, and that's helpful too. So I think K5 is the way to go. But I'm thinking it through. I've done this before with my YJ. I sold Hawkeye. A week later, I bought a YJ on 35s with a 2.5. I had nothing new about it. Well, I think something was wrong with the motor. 500 miles later, it blew the rod out of the block and lost oil pressure and that whole deal there. Axles are pretty weak on 35s, stock axles, and yeah, fully locked front axle with the hubs, and it's just, I think that was a bad choice to buy. I had fun for a while. 500 miles with no issues until the day happened. But yeah, I don't know. And then if I do go K5, then my rolling chassis here is for sale. Motor's for sale, transmission's all for sale, and all I could sell it. And I would want at least a minimum of 1,000 because I have a near 500 in that motor for what I have into it: alternator, carburetor, starter, those type of parts on it, all my new stuff over there, even that battery probably, and all that's included. brake lines are all new, about $300 in brake lines, and I have new shoes and new cylinders on it, and new master cylinder on it. New gas tank will go, so all that. So yeah, near 1,500 plus for the drivetrain motor. That's about half what I paid for the truck. I don't know, that's where I'll be at if I could sell it. I don't know. That's my thoughts. What could be happening? I have till spring to figure it out, but obviously be done by spring would be nice. I did sell a Jeep seat. That's selling tomorrow. 1980s CG7 AMC seat, all black, CJ embossed for $130. To a guy down in Tennessee. Grandma decided to take it down there with her, and there's a guy 10 minutes from her that's buying it. So that's being sold tomorrow. And the guy she knows, Ian Johnston, he's 10 minutes from his shop. I wish I was that close to Ian Johnston's shop, but I'm not. And he's got a small block for sale too. That came with his Jeep, and he's putting the stock motor back in. Like, you want a small block too? Like, no, I found one for $500 with a whole chassis. That's a much better deal, he said. Take it. So there's that. Hopefully all these videos get released. I'm still like, as recording, my phone's stacked with video. I've not uploaded. I'm not lazy at home. On my last video I've uploaded recently was me getting free stuff from a guy. That's near a month and a half ago. I'm behind. But yeah. I don't know what the deal here. The original plan of this whole truck was to keep it a nice sleeper build, pretty much. Diesel swap, 32, 33s, stock chassis, stock training, done. Tell myself, no big mud tires, no big this, but then you need the, I don't know, just, this is the truck, the Jeep I want to keep, so I have that with me, but I don't know. Dual exhaust, I'll probably do dual stack, to be honest. Well, my gas tank's more not so hot back there, and I could kind of tuck it up higher with the exhaust, and that's an idea too. I do want to do stacks. It'll be tough though, because dual exhaust, the big V8. Problem is my spare tires, the other side's gonna get burnt. Most likely not there. I still want to do a twin air onboard system from ARB. I can do a front locker with ARB. The winch is still plenty powerful, 8,000-pound winch. But sucks that front bumper may not work for this K5. I may have to modify it. That's okay. I still want a stubby bumper look anyway for this truck, no matter what. That still might work. Modify it. What else? All the electrical work that Grandpa's done for me is all for the electrical lights, and well, based off that, it goes with the body. So all his work is not lost. So he's always happy on that. Alrighty, so I don't know. That's that. I'm trying to plan things out. Bye.